She tried to unlock my front door with a master key while my pregnant wife was standing just a few feet away. That sound, the metallic click of a stranger sliding into our lock, still makes my skin crawl. And in that moment, staring at the smug smile of the HOA president on my porch, I realized this wasn't about fines or rules anymore. It was about whether my family was safe in our own home. My name's Daniel McCarthy. I've lived in Crestwood Oaks for a few years, and on the surface it looks like every picture-perfect suburban neighborhood, neatly trimmed lawns, white fences, kids on bikes. But behind the curtain, it's a place run like a private kingdom by one woman, Patricia Whitmore, our HOA president. And if you crossed her, if you even questioned one of her decisions, she'd find a way to make your life hell. For me, it all started with a lantern. Not just any lantern, but the one my father installed on our porch before he died in the line of duty as a firefighter. It's been glowing there every night since, a steady reminder that he's still with us in some way. One afternoon, Patricia showed up, heels clicking on the pavement, waving a violation notice like it was the law itself. She leaned against my porch rail, smirking. "Take it down, Mr. McCarthy. That lantern violates Section 7 of the updated exterior standards." I stared at her then, at the lantern. "Really? You want to make this your hill? That light's been here longer than you've even lived in this neighborhood." I could feel Emily, my wife, listening from the living room. She's 7 months pregnant, already stressed enough, and here was Patricia threatening us over a damn porch light. Patricia didn't care. She tapped her paper and said, "Remove it within 10 days or face fines." Then she turned and strutted off like she owned the place. I remember thinking she just lit the fuse. Within a week, I noticed the pattern. The Johnsons down the street fined because their wheelchair ramp didn't match the aesthetic. The Lees, who just brought home a newborn, cited for a security camera. Old Mrs. Turner written up for planting sunflowers. None of this was about property values. It was about control. Fear started seeping into the neighborhood. People kept their heads down, avoiding eye contact, pretending maybe the storm would pass. Then the hammer dropped on me. Multiple notices, one after another, until finally a bright orange sticker slapped across my mailbox. Final notice. Non-compliance. Patricia even blasted out an email to the whole community with my name bolded in the subject line, "Resident Endangering Property Values." She claimed my lantern was a fire hazard. Me, a licensed inspector who literally signs off on safety codes, being accused of endangering people by a woman with no credentials at all. I sat there at the kitchen table reading her words over and over, my wife's hand on my shoulder, her voice low. She's painting a target on us. And for a moment, I believed Patricia was winning. I stared at that lantern outside and thought maybe I should just give up, take it down, end the fight before Emily gets dragged deeper into this. I felt small, powerless, like maybe I was the problem. But then Patricia went too far. She posted on the residents' forum claiming she was scheduling mandatory inspections for select homes, including mine. And get this, she threatened to use the HOA's master key to enter houses that didn't comply. That was it. That was the line. I knew the law. Only licensed inspectors or city officials could even think about entering a property like that. For her to pretend she had that authority, she wasn't just bullying anymore, she was breaking the law. I started collecting everything, screenshots of her posts, photos of every violation notice taped to doors. I built a file thicker than my inspection reports. And then one morning, my neighbor Michael Rivera shuffled over, hands in his pockets, eyes darting nervously toward Patricia's house. He pulled out a crumpled violation notice, except it wasn't his. Patricia had accidentally left it on his door, but it was addressed to another family. Michael looked at me and whispered, "She's been using that master key. I've seen her." That was the moment I knew I wasn't crazy. It wasn't just me. She was doing this to other families, too. Michael was scared, trembling, even as he admitted it, but he agreed if I went to the authorities, he'd back me up. And then came the night it all snapped into focus. Emily had just come home from a doctor's appointment, exhausted. We were in the kitchen when I heard a sharp metallic click at the front door. My stomach dropped. I knew that sound wasn't our key. I rushed to the entryway, yanked the door open, and there she was. Patricia. Folder in one hand, the master key still dangling from my lock. "This is a scheduled inspection, Mr. McCarthy," she said smoothly, as if she hadn't just tried to break into a home with a pregnant woman inside. My voice was ice. "You just attempted unlawful entry. Do you even realize what line you crossed?" For the first time I saw her confidence crack. Just a flicker, but it was enough. I pulled that key out of the lock, and let me tell you, it felt heavier than steel in my hand. Proof. Evidence. The smoking gun. That night I laid it on the dining table under the glow of my father's lantern, Emily's hand resting on mine, and I promised her I'm going to do everything about this. Over the next few days, my kitchen table turned into a war room. Notices stacked in neat piles, screenshots saved, the master key sealed in a bag like evidence in a courtroom, Michael's testimony written out in my own handwriting. And then I made the call to Inspector Lewis, an old colleague at City Code Enforcement. I told him everything. His voice on the other end was sharp. "That's not just an HOA violation, Daniel. That's criminal trespass." Exactly. By the night of the HOA meeting, the whole neighborhood buzzed. People whispered in driveways, curtains shifted. They knew something was about to happen. When I walked into the clubhouse, the air was thick, folding chairs crammed with residents. Patricia stood at the front, flanked by board members, smiling like she was untouchable. She opened with her usual script. "Mr. McCarthy has refused compliance. His lantern is a hazard, and as president, it's my duty to protect this neighborhood." She didn't say my name, but every head turned toward me. I stood slowly, binder in hand, and let the silence build. "Hazard." I repeated, my voice cutting through the room. Funny word coming from someone with zero credentials. A ripple ran through the crowd. Patricia stiffened. "This is not your platform, Daniel. The board has authority." "No," I cut in louder now. "The board has limits, and you crossed them." I flipped open the binder showing the inspection schedule she'd posted online. My address in bold print. "You scheduled inspections without a license. That's not HOA policy. That's impersonating authority." Her smile faltered. She opened her mouth, but I wasn't done. I pulled the evidence bag from my folder. The master key glinted under the fluorescent lights, and the room gasped. "You tried to use this to enter my home, while my pregnant wife was inside, without consent." The silence was so sharp I swear you could hear a pin drop. Then Michael stepped forward, voice trembling at first, but steadying as he spoke. "I saw her, not just at Daniel's house, at others too, using that key, leaving notices that didn't match violations. She's been targeting anyone who questioned her." Neighbors began murmuring, nodding, whispering to each other. The board members shifted uncomfortably, glancing at Patricia, then at me. Her mask was slipping. I delivered the final blow. "This isn't about bylaws or property values. This is about abuse of power. And the city has already been notified. Inspector Lewis has the evidence." The moment Patricia overstepped her authority ended. Patricia's face drained of color. Papers slipped from her hand and scattered across the floor. For once, she had nothing to say. The crowd erupted, some angry, some relieved. Voices rose demanding answers. Years of fear broke open all at once. I stood there, Emily's hand gripping mine. Michael steady at my side as Patricia stumbled back, cornered, speechless. Her reign of intimidation collapsed in that single moment, shattered under the weight of truth. And that's where the story ends. Not with a celebration, not with champagne, but with the simple reality that the bully who thought she was untouchable finally faced the consequences. The lesson: bullies only hold power as long as we stay quiet. The moment you stand, document, and expose the truth, they fall. Every single time.